Sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a program with microphones. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part. Support your local, mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks. She's wearing a sweater. She's Ashley Pickle.
It is sweater weather.
It's not.
It's not, but it's really gloomy outside, and it's cold in here, and I literally sit in the studio all day on Thursdays. So in the studio, it is sweater weather.
Yeah, I can get on board that. It's a strange phenomenon because
it's going to be sweater weather next week. It's going to be cold next week.
Is it?
Yeah, Sunday the high is like 75, and then Monday the high is 41, I think.
That doesn't make any sense. Get together, Texas.
Yeah, it drops like 30 degrees literally in one day.
Get together, Texas. Today is Friday, October 27th, 2023. 27 days until Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, nice.
President Teddy Roosevelt.
Star of Night at the Museum.
Mm-hmm. Preceded William Howard Taft.
Mm.
And then challenged him for the presidency. It was a weird thing. You should read the book. It's episode 1681. On today's show, folks, we got Craven Bets, our weekly college football advice segment in which we tell you, hey, maybe take a look at these things. With Mike Craven, our senior college football writer, on coming up here in just a moment. And then back half the show, Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. We asked you for questions, and you delivered. We've got some questions to answer across the state of Texas, high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel. If you ever have questions, tune in Wednesday and get in our comments and be like, tick, 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 tick. That's typing. That's you dip your head down here. Tick, 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 tick.
Why do you have to dip your head?
Well, because you have to look at the keyboard like.
No, you should not have to look at the
So
keyboard.
what you do is you go here and you go. Tick, tick, tick.
That's bad typing if you have to look at the keyboard.
So we'll get into Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday coming up here at the back half of the program. Reminder, tonight,
Let's go.
a show finally lives up to its name. Well, like our show certainly does. We're talking about Texas football, and it is, in fact, today. Tonight, Texas football tonight, we'll do the same. Mm-hmm. Dave Campbell's Texas football tonight. 7:30 to 10. Will be Nick Lalpius and Ishmael Johnson on the desk going sextabox. Is that what's the
Hextabox.
Hextabox?
Yeah, it was 6.
What's septabox is 7.
7.
Hexabox.
Mm-hmm.
Hexabox.
Yeah. A hexagon has 6 sides.
7 is septabox.
Mm-hmm.
8 would be octabox.
Mm-hmm.
9 would be nonabox?
No. I don't know what 9 is, but it's not that.
Anyway, we'll go 6 wide on Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight. Tonight, 7:30 p.m. on TexasLive.com, as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Is that right? All those places?
Yep.
Make sure you go check it out. It's free to watch the biggest games across the state, including, and you guys revealed these on WTF yesterday, Duncanville, DeSoto, North Shore, Duncanville,
North Shore, Atascocita.
North Shore, Atascocita. North Shore, Duncanville will be weird because Duncanville's going to be a little busy.
Yes.
North Shore, Atascocita.
The 100th edition of the Mid-County Madness.
Mid-County Madness, the Bum Phillips Bowl, PNG Nederland. So maybe check that out. I don't know. I'm not your mom. Do what you want, but 7:30 p.m. 7:30 p.m. tonight. Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight. One guy who's going to be a little busy tonight, I presume, is Mike Craven, our senior college football writer and financial analyst, advisor, confidant, our financial advisor here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football. He has looked across the board. He loves what he sees on the board, and he's here to share with you in a segment we call Craven Bets. Craven Bets, America's most lucrative segment here on Craven's Corner. And on this corner,
we make money.
We're going to try to make some money here on the college football week ahead. It is actually, for a change, we actually have a bunch of Saturday games, which is thank you college football for following the schedule that we've all laid out for you.
Yeah, getting back to normal. And then next week, the Conference USA midweek stuff is done and dusted. And so we're getting back towards everything being on Saturday. I think that's because the NBA and the World Series is going on. And so they know those midweek slots aren't as easy to get viewers as they used to be.
We're going to start our perusal of your best plays of the week across the state of Texas in Manhattan, Kansas, as the Houston Cougars will make first trip to Manhattan ever? Maybe. I would need to look that up. Going to take on a Kansas State team that is suddenly trying to insert themselves in the Big 12 championship picture. Kansas State is a 17.5-point home favorite, and you think that 17.5 may not be enough for the Cougs.
I watched that TCU-Kansas State game on replay on Sunday. That Kansas State team, not only are they better than most of these Big 12 teams and definitely the real challenger to Texas and Oklahoma, they take a perverse pleasure in letting you know that they are more physically dominant than you. And Houston, that is their problem. On the offensive line, on the defensive line, is trying to get to Big 12 caliber guys up in the trenches. They've had 2 emotional weeks in a row. The West Virginia Hail Mary game to beat Dana Holgerson's old club. They come back against Texas that almost was last week. Feels like going on the road to a place like Kansas State against a team like Kansas State is tough news for the Cougars.
People have lavished praise on Chris Kleiman. We really should just put a clear marker on this. Kansas State is 15-6 as a home favorite under Kleiman. That's insane. Against the spread.
He's really good. He's really good. He's a top 10 football coach in the nation.
He's incredible. Let's move on to Denton, where the North Texas Mean Green will welcome in Memphis in an AAC clash. North Texas is catching 7.5 at home, and you think that the Mean Green can stay within a touchdown?
Maybe I'm too low on Memphis. My friends in the national media swear to me that Memphis is the biggest challenger to Tulane in the AAC. I already saw Tulane beat Memphis. Maybe this is the Seth Hennigan stuff. We're too close to the trees here on the high school side. I think North Texas is going to upset one of these teams. They play Memphis, SMU, and UTSA over the next 3 weeks. I think they get one of them. The defense is getting better. It's not great, but it's getting better. And when that offense is humming, they can score enough points to where it just takes the other team having an off day over there, turning the ball over a few times. I'm not sure if this is the week that North Texas gets a win, but I definitely think this one's going to be close. They only lost by 7 to Tulane. I think they're a pretty good football team that's playing better and better football.
Yeah, I think so. I think the trajectory is very clearly pointed up for North Texas. The team that, you remember back the first couple weeks, we were wondering about the Eric Morris experience, but they have trended up, and they may end up with a gnarly record, but there's clearly progress being made in Denton. Let's go to Waco as the Baylor Bears will welcome in the Iowa State Cyclones as they continue their tour of the bottom of the Big 12. Iowa State is a 2.5-point favorite at Baylor, and you think that the Cyclones are going to walk into Waco and come away with a win?
Iowa State's starting to play better. That pains me to say. I'm kind of a Matt Campbell hater. I don't really hate Matt Campbell. I just hate the hype that he always gets, that he's in line for every single job in the world, even when he's 7-5. I just feel like the game against Cincinnati with Baylor, they had to play, that was them playing really well. And they kind of just got out of there with a win coming out of the bye week. It feels like with the UCF game where that kind of felt like a final stand or kind of a last stand and it wasn't going to carry over. I kind of feel that way about the Cincinnati game. They had 2 weeks to prepare for that one. I just don't trust this team to be able to come back home. They've already lost a couple home games. I don't know if McLean's going to be rocking. So give me Iowa State. Their defense is better, more consistent. I can count on them a little bit more. So I'll go with the Cyclones as much as that hurts.
Not trying to enter the Fade Craven era. Let's consider it a slander Matt Campbell era. Iowa State just 2-6 as a road favorite under Matt Campbell. So consider that when you're placing it. Yes. Let's go to I think undisputed the game of the week in St. Marcus as the Texas State Bobcats look to become bowl eligible. They'll have to do it by upsetting Sunbelt favorite, no worse than co-favorite, Troy, who comes to town. Troy is a 5.5-point favorite, and you like the Trojans.
I'd push back on you a little bit. Arch Manning may play in Austin. Jimbo Fisher's a loss away from getting canned in College Station. So I think those are probably the 2 biggest games in the state of Texas. But, Troy's starting to play really good football. I was kind of worried about Troy early in the year as just kind of a G5 nut. Weren't playing as well a defense as they had before. They lost the best linebacker in program history after last year. But they're starting to turn it back on. Starting to play really good defense, getting some offense going. They're both coming off an idle week, so both had 2 weeks to prepare for this one. It feels like a too soon situation for Texas State, where maybe this is a year away from being able to punch in this weight class. We're going to find out a lot about the Bobcats and that offense. They've been playing well so far, but I'm going to take Troy.
And now a something that I didn't think I would be saying, but is a true fact. A matchup for a share of first place in the American Athletic Conference going on at Rice Stadium as the Rice Owls welcome in the number 22 Tulane Green Wave. Tulane, an understandable, in my mind, 10.5-point favorite at the Owls, and you think the Green Wave are going to roll.
I do. See, that half point's tricky. They put that half point on it to try to talk you into the Rice side. I'm not falling for this, Vegas. I'm not going to do it. Tulane gave up a pretty big lead last week against North Texas. I'd imagine Willie Fritz and the boys have that team pretty prepared to play a four-quarter football game after what happened last week. Rice is good, and the Gummy Bears on the sideline is awesome. It's a great story. The Gummy Worms on the sideline, a great story. That offense, JT Daniels has been excellent. This just feels kind of like what I was talking about with Texas State Troy. Just feels a little too soon, right? It feels like a weight class above. I think Tulane's just a better football team. They're going to win this one by 2 touchdowns.
Tulane the last 2 years have obviously been excellent. They are 15-6 against the spread overall. More importantly, 7-0 on the road against the spread in that span. So he's Mike Craven. He is our senior college football writer here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football and our financial advisor on Craven's Corner, because on this corner,
we make money.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
All right, Pickle. It's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score on award-winning Hondas like the rugged and reliable 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Stop by your North Texas Honda dealer today or visit ntxhonda.com to learn more.
So if you got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, get them in comments on Wednesday. Go back in time, build a time machine, or wait till this Wednesday, and we'll do it again next Friday. That's how the show works. We're on a schedule. We have rules around here, folks. Jeez.
That's debatable.
Okay, well, we have some rules around here. Anyway, it's Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. You send in your questions. We're going to answer them, starting with this question that Ashley Pickle's going to say right now.
Who is the biggest surprise in Texas high school football so far, and who is the biggest disappointment?
Biggest surprise.
It was Honey Grove before they lost.
It was Honey Grove, and they're still in that mix.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly if they beat Wolf City this week, then it's like, okay, let's talk about you. A couple of teams that I think spring to mind. I think Clyde
Yeah, that's fair.
really surprising. To be 8-0 at this point is really surprising. I think that they're on that mix. I think, and they've got a big game this week against Longview, I think Tyler.
Yeah.
Rashawn Woods has come in and done a terrific job with Cujo. I mean, they're 6-2. They're gonna make the playoffs. Like, I think Tyler is in that short list of teams that I think are some of the big surprises. It's weird. I might put Willis in that category too. But like, we knew that they had, like, I'll say this. I didn't think they'd be this good.
I think it's more surprising that they have more assets other than just DJ Lagway.
Yes.
But I would never say a team with a superstar Elite 11
Right.
quarterback is necessarily like shocking.
Yeah, it's not shocking.
But yes,
yeah.
they definitely proved to us that there is more than just one.
Forney.
Yeah. I
would say all Forney ISD. Forney and North Forney are
Yep.
combined 14-2. Like, that's a real surprise there.
Iowa Colony.
Iowa Colony. So Matt Stepp will tell you that he was like, yeah, I could have told you that.
Whatever.
Whatever. No, I
Don't
agree.
get
I
it.
agree with you. I think anytime you have a team that's ranked in the top 10, it's a second-year varsity program, they have to be in that surprise category. Midland.
Yeah.
If they beat Legacy this week,
Which is just, yeah.
if they beat Legacy this week, they're going to win the Little Southwest Conference, which would be crazy considering where they were.
Would you consider Tidehaven a surprise by any
See, I was
stretch?
pretty high on Tidehaven.
Tidehaven.
I'm not. I'm maybe surprised that they've been this good.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of those teams that they're like the Willis category for me.
Yeah.
Of like, we thought they'd be good, maybe not this good. Yeah, those are teams that I would say would be the biggest surprises. As far as the biggest disappointments, Lancaster. Now I think they're still going to make the playoffs, but like that was a team we had. I want to say ranked third to start the year.
Yeah.
And like they have not been it. Amarillo Tascosa, it's 3-5. The team we had high hopes for out of Region 1. Who else would call? All due respect to our buddy, we do love Dub the Coyote, but Wichita Falls High was a team that we thought was going to be able to capitalize on last year's success, and it just hasn't happened for them. All right, let me try this one on for size. And they're not bad by any stretch, and they may haul off and end up winning the region and make me sound super dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just the standard that they've set for themselves, but Liberty Hill,
Honestly, yeah.
they've been real. The problem with them is they've been inconsistent. And like for a team that like has always prided themselves on consistency, like you know what you're getting with them. They just haven't had that. Round Rock is 3-5, and I think that was a team that, especially remember they won the state 7-on-7. We thought that they were going to be a real contender, and they may still end up being kind of getting the wheels back on.
Right.
But that one I think certainly is surprising in a less than positive way. And Temple.
Yeah.
Temple
Temple
just can't get it together.
bad this year. Very bad.
Temple just can't get it together, and that's surprising to me because I thought they were a real sleeper there in Central Texas. So yeah, that's all I'll say. Those are my surprises and disappointments for the season. What's next, Pickle?
Let's set the world ablaze here. If Jimbo Fisher gets fired at Texas A&M, who should the Aggies hire?
Okay. So the buyout's like $75 million.
It's like there's a budget issue here, to be honest with you.
Is there?
$75 million is a lot of money. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of money. Because it's $75 million plus the addition of a
here's
new
the thing,
coach.
and this is to me. I want to say that Mike Craven said. I listened to a bunch of podcasts. I want to say Craven said this on Republic of Football. He brought up the point. You can't think of it as a $75 million buyout. Okay, it is.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Next year, let's just say you let him coach 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Do you know what the buyout is next year? $65 million.
Yeah.
So it's not a sub.
Bless you.
It's not a $75 million buyout. It's a $10 million decision. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to say, because I think everyone agrees. I think everyone agrees. And I mean, maybe Jimbo doesn't. But like, I think most people agree that he is not going to coach to the end of this contract.
Yes.
Right? His contract goes to like 2036.
Just again,
or something?
maybe why you don't sign a 10-year
Or
contract.
2032 or something. Like, yeah. Like because they signed that 10-year extension.
Which is just so
I
dumb in
think
the first
everyone
place.
agrees that they are not going to. He's not going to play out the string. He's not going to coach to the end of this contract and then walk away.
Right.
Right?
I don't think anybody at the very get-go thought he would coach for 10 years there.
That's to me why I think if you are the people in power here, I think there's this notion like that people like to throw around. Oh man, like these like what a dumb extension, a dumb contract. Like they didn't understand. And we could certainly have a conversation as to whether or not this was the way to play it. Mm-hmm. But these people do not sign these contracts unless they understand the downside risk.
Yeah.
Like they didn't get rich by not understanding downside risk. And so they had to, at some point, I'm sure they would have preferred that this goes on for 5 more years, but I'm sure they thought at some point we're going to need to eat a buyout. Do you know why? Because everyone eats a buyout. Mm-hmm. Everyone eats it. And so to me, you got to think about this. Are you willing to let Jimbo Fisher coach 2024 for $10 million and to save $10 million? That's the bigger question. That's the bigger question. Is giving him one more year worth $10 million? Because if you just fire him at the end of next year, it's just going to be $65 million or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. It's only $10 million saving. So, ultimately, I think he's one loss away from them stroking the check.
Yeah.
I think they're one loss away from them being like, this is it. Because I think 8-4, and especially the way that it's gone, I think 8-4 would represent a pretty significant disappointment. And by the way, I think they're going to beat South Carolina. That's a hot take. I think they're going to beat South Carolina. But like Ole Miss and LSU, they will be lucky to split.
Right. Well, and they also might think too that $10 million is worth all the players that they've been losing the past couple of weeks in the for recruiting.
That's the other thing we talked about.
That has a lasting impact.
You're exactly right. That's the other elephant in the room. Is that if it becomes clear that the recruiting is starting to fall apart, I think that makes your decision easier.
Yeah.
So, all that's to say, the question was, who are candidates? There's one name you're going to hear a lot, and it's Mike Elko. Mike Elko is the Duke head coach, and Duke is having a pretty good year. Beat Clemson. I don't know what that means anymore, but
yeah, I don't think that's as highly touted.
They were at one point nationally ranked. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They had a great year last year in his first year. And I think there's a feeling, one that I share kind of with among Aggies, that this whole thing started turning to dog doo-doo after Mike Elko left. After 2021, then they go and they hire DJ Durkin to be their defensive coordinator. And Mike Elko's over there being a star defensive coordinator or being a star for Duke. Bring him home, so to speak, and make him head coach. That's one name to keep in mind. I think they're going to I think they would be fools not to feel out and vet Jeff Traylor at UTSA. Now, obviously, they have not had the year that they were hoping for this year, but they're still in control of their own destiny for the conference title, which would be 3 straight conference titles. And as far as recruiting the state of Texas is concerned, if you want to go from, again, it's the whole idea of like you break up with a girl and then you date a girl who's the exact opposite, right? If you want to go from Yankee, which is a rude thing to say about Jimbo Fisher because he's from West Virginia, but like, you know what I mean? If you want to go from non-Texan to true Texan, that would be a way to go.
Even just personality-wise, those guys are polar opposites.
Joey McGuire would be in that mix as well, but I do wonder, I think that what's happening at Tech this year is having a bigger impact on his stock as opposed to what's going on. I think that 2023 has been better to Jeff Traylor's stock than it has been to Joey McGuire's stock. Also Jeff Traylor's been there longer. He's got more skins on the wall, right? Do you make a call to Deion Sanders?
That would track.
If you want to make the splashy hire, he's the splashy hire. And certainly he would listen to the phone call, because I don't think anybody has any illusions that he's a Colorado lifer. And to bring him into the SEC, he's already proven that he can recruit nationally and he can recruit in that footprint when he did it at Jackson State. Do you call Deion Sanders?
Yeah.
Those would be some initial names that I would keep an eye on. I would also, another name to keep an eye on, and you'd have to pry him away from the NFL, but Todd Monken. Todd Monken was the Georgia offensive coordinator for them on their national championship team last year. He left to go become the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. I think you call him and say, hey, do you like the NFL as much as you like college?
Mm-hmm.
Give us a shout. The thing is, I know that right now, and it's a unique phenomenon with A&M that people love to kick them when they're down. This is a really good job that the line will form to the left of people who want this job. Everyone's going to want this job, with the exception of like Brian Kelly and Ryan Day and like Jim Harbaugh. Every college football coach, and like Kirby Smart and Nick Saban, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every other college football coach in America is going to want this job because they have everything you need to win a national championship. They just haven't done it. And if you do take them to a national championship, you are God King.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something to keep an eye on, too. So that's a long answer to a short question. All right, we got one more?
What is your favorite conspiracy theory?
My favorite conspiracy theory. Okay, so not the one I believe, not the ones I believe, but the ones that okay. I mean, the obvious ones are like the moon landing, JFK, right?
Mm-hmm.
The obvious ones. Okay, I've got two. One, I love the NBA lottery conspiracy. Are you familiar with this?
I think so.
So go back. I want to say it was 94. Is that when Patrick Ewing was drafted? No, I'm sorry, 85. 85. Drafted in 85. And so the way that there was, the way that the draft went was that there were envelopes in there, and like the commissioner would reach in, grab the envelope, and that would be the team, right? And that would be the team who picks last. And generally speaking, they go from like 12 down to 1. So like, for you want your envelope to be picked last, right? The theory is that the NBA wanted, or somebody, the NBA wanted the Knicks to be able to draft Patrick Ewing. Okay, because he's Georgetown guy, like that part of the world, like he's a New York guy, and they want them to be good. He went to he's from Massachusetts. He's from that part of the world, and he could help to revitalize this big franchise, right? So they want him to go number 1. And so what they did was that they took the envelope that had the Knicks card in it, and they put it in the freezer. And then they bring the cards out, they put them in there, and so then David Stern is reaching in there. He goes, "Oh, I can't pick that one. That one's cold."
Cold.
Right?
That's funny.
I love that one. I love that conspiracy theory. I don't know if it's true. I think I want to believe it's true. That kind of rocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the frozen envelope theory of the NBA, the NBA draft lottery. You also hear that every year. Every year you hear that you watch the Champions League draw, right? Same thing of like they're grabbing they got to swirl the balls around and grab it.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
people who think that like some of the balls are like heated up.
Heated up.
Yeah, or something like that,
that's
or colder
funny.
and stuff, so like you can get it by touch. I love that. Okay. The other one is New Coke. Do you know about this one?
I
New
don't
Coke.
know.
So this was back in the 80s. When did New Coke come out? New Coke came out in 1990. Or no, it was 1985. Yeah. So New Coke, basically Coca-Cola was rocking and rolling, right? But in 1985, they said, you know what? Like I think that they were losing market share, and so they said, you know what? We're gonna reformulate it, and we're gonna make it, we're gonna rejigger it and stuff like that, and it was universally hated. So much so that they pulled it, like, I don't remember how far it came back, like how long until they reversed it in 79 days. Oh my gosh, 79 days.
not long at
New
all.
Coke was out.
That's like barely even long enough to be on shelves at that
Right.
point.
But 79 days, there was such outrage that they were like, you know what? Hey, we're going back to the old formula. It's Coca-Cola Classic, which is what it's called now, right? You see it. It's called Coca-Cola Classic. The conspiracy theory is that they knew that it would be garbage, but they did it to get like people talking about it and that their market share went back up, which it did.
That's funny.
But there's a great quote from the guy who I always think about. What's his name? His name is Donald Keogh. Okay, he is the president COO of Coke at the time, and he had a great quote afterwards when somebody asked him about like this conspiracy theory that they intentionally changed it, like just to go back to kind of as like an advertising ploy.
Mm-hmm.
His quote was, "We're not that dumb and we're not that smart," which.
I
Buddy,
feel that.
I feel in a big way.
Yeah.
Not that dumb, not that smart. Anyway, those are my two favorites.
I like the one that there's the like secret chamber behind Mount Rushmore with all the like with super important government documents in it. That rocks.
It does
because
it makes a lot of
imagine-
sense because it's in South Dakota, right?
Yeah.
South Dakota, North Dakota. It's in one of the Dakotas. South Dakota. Yeah. It's in South Dakota.
Yep. But they said there's
Eastside
like
Compound.
one behind Abraham Lincoln's head, and I just
Yeah.
love the idea of someone trying to sneak up there and finding it, or the idea that like someone had the idea of like, oh yeah, let's make a giant rock about our presidents, and then that's where we'll put all of the documents. Like,
Oh.
isn't that pretty obvious?
Yes, that is pretty obvious. Have you heard of the conspiracy theory about the Denver airport? So the Denver airport is reportedly like the meeting place and the central hub for the Illuminati.
No.
Yes, and it's like apparently like people like see all these symbols on the wall and stuff like that. And apparently like the Denver airport like leaned into it at some point like on their Twitter account
that
and like
rocks.
would like put in like intentionally put in like symbols or
Oh,
something into their tweets and stuff like that,
That's funny.
which is great. Yeah. Anyway, those are my favorite conspiracy theories. I think that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for us. Remember, Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight, 7:30 p.m. Facebook, YouTube, TexanLive.com, and on Twitter. Watch it for 2.5 hours of live whip around coverage of the biggest games across the state of Texas in a massive Week 10 of Texas high school football. Thanks for spending a part of your day with us. One more thing to do before we go, Pickle, and that is to roll out the Week 9, Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, in conjunction with the TaxAct Texas Bowl, is proud to present the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Each Monday, TexasFootball.com announces 10 candidates for that week's award based on the previous week's on-field performance. Fans then decide the winner by voting on TexasFootball.com. Congratulations to this week's winner of the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award. For more information, visit TexasFootball.com.